At this time, the commander of the 88th Army Band will promote Sergeant First Class Abatecola to the rank of First Sergeant.
Sergeant First Class Abatecola, front and center.
Attention to orders. The Adjutant General of the State of Rhode Island has reposed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and professional excellence of Sergeant First Class Anthony James Abatecola. In view of these qualities and his demonstrated leadership potential and dedicated service to the United States Army and the Rhode Island Army National Guard, he is therefore promoted to the rank of Master Sergeant and laterally appointed to the rank of First Sergeant with the date of rank of 7 June 2016, by order of the Adjutant General. Signed, Andrew J. Chevalier, Lieutenant Colonel, G1. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Change of Responsibility ceremony for the 88th Army Band. Today, First Sergeant Clifford A. Soares will turn over the duties of First Sergeant of the 88th Army Band to First Sergeant Anthony J. Abatecola. Specialist Emily Gully is presenting a bouquet of red roses to Deb Soares for her devotion, dedication, and tireless efforts to the soldiers and families of the 88th Army Band. Specialist William Chilton is presenting Louisa Abatecola a bouquet of yellow flowers from the commander and the soldiers of the 88th Army Band to welcome her to the unit. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the singing of the national anthem. It is customary for civilian guests to place their hand over their heart during the national anthem. Please be seated. Throughout his 35 years of service, First Sergeant Clifford Soares has made significant contributions to the Army Band field as he has dedicated his life to the U.S. Army, the art of music, and the enlisted corps, while serving in various positions of increased responsibility, accumulating as the enlisted band leader for the 88th Army Band. He spent his entire military career serving the Rhode Island Army National Guard, operating in many capacities for the state's band. Throughout his period in the Rhode Island Army National Guard, he earned several awards and certificates of appreciation for his outstanding roles and leadership positions in supporting Rhode Island Army National Guard events, including a letter of appreciation from the Governor J. Joseph Garrahy for both his performance and behind-the-scenes work of the governor's inauguration in 1982. He has participated in every governor's inauguration since then. He has supported hundreds of parades throughout the state, dozens of general officer promotion ceremonies, several unit mobilization and demobilization ceremonies, countless change of command and change of responsibility ceremonies, and hundreds of veteran support ceremonies and concerts. He has dedicated himself to improving the unit's overall state of readiness, as well as assisting the Guard with any mission. He was promoted to First Sergeant in September 2009. First Sergeant Soares has led the band for many high-profile events, both in the U.S. and overseas, including representing the Rhode Island Army National Guard at the United States Embassy located in Nassau, Bahamas. His attendance record has been exemplary throughout his entire 35-year duration with the Rhode Island Army National Guard. He could always be depended upon to go the extra mile in support of the Guard as a whole, at thousands of events, as a soloist or in charge of a small musical performance team. First Sergeant Soares has mastered his military occupational specialty and has helped countless others strive towards the same level of excellence. His attention to detail as the enlisted band leader and common sense approach helped resolve soldier issues in a timely and precise manner. He has adhered to the Army values and has always led by example. He has displayed superior initiative, professional ability, and an unparalleled dedication, all of which has made him an asset to the 88th Army Band, the United States Army. His commitment to the Rhode Island Army National Guard and willingness to support any mission stands out among his peers. First Sergeant Anthony Abatecola enlisted into the Rhode Island Army National Guard on March 2, 1993 as a private first class. He attended basic combat training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and was assigned to the 282nd Army Band immediately following. In 1994, he began training in precision ceremonial functions with the Rhode Island National Guard Select Honor Guard. Shortly after his promotion to sergeant in 1995, he was assigned as the primary drum major for the 88th Army Band and led the unit in ceremonial functions. In 1996, he was selected for the AGR program with the full-time Recruiting and Retention Force. He completed training in MOS 79 Tango, Recruiting and Retention NCO. In addition to supporting the Army Band, he also spent the next 4 years working very closely with the 103rd Field Artillery and the 143rd Maintenance Company, participating in their drills and some of their annual training periods. In 2001, First Sergeant Abatecola was reassigned from the Recruiting and Retention Force and assigned as the first AGR Readiness NCO for both the 88th Army Band and Detachment 265th Press Camp. While in this position, he also concurrently served as the Operations NCO and trainer for the Rhode Island National Guard Select Honor Guard, training members and coordinating events between the Army and Air Guard. In 2004, he returned to the recruiting force. He spent the next 4 years working with almost every unit in the Rhode Island Army National Guard, assisting and advising command staff in areas of recruiting, retention, and unit morale. In 2008, he reassigned from AGR force to pursue a civilian opportunity and returned to the 88th Army Band as a part-time soldier, where he was reassigned as a section leader and resumed his former role as a primary drum major. He was also a member of the Rhode Island Small Arms Response Competition shooting team from 2010 to 2013. His most recent position was a ceremonial band team leader in Operations NCOIC for the 88th Army Band. First Sergeant Abatecola is a graduate of the Initial Deployment Planning Course, Battle-Focused Instructor Training Course, Army National Guard Recruiting and Retention Course, Basic Non-Commissioned Officer Course, the Army Band Drum Major Course, Unit Clerk Course, Unit Supply NCO Course, Master Resiliency Trainer Course, the Army Senior Leader Course. His military awards include the Meritorious Service Medal, the Army Commendation Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters, the Army Achievement Medal with 4 oak leaf clusters, the Army Reserve Component Achievement Medal, the National Defense Service Medal, the Global War on Terror Service Medal, the Army Career Counselor Badge, and the Army National Guard Master Recruiting Badge. First Sergeant Abatecola is also the chief instructor at USA Karate in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, where he oversees a staff of instructors and about 100 students. He is a 6th degree master black belt and expert in multiple fighting concepts. He sits on a board of masters which oversees 9 martial arts schools across New England. He is currently employed at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs as a veteran service representative. He is an avid firearms enthusiast, motorcyclist, and a full-passion member of the U.S. Veterans Motorcycle Club. First Sergeant Abatecola also just graduated magna cum laude from Roger Williams University with a Bachelor of Science in Public Admin on May 14th. First Sergeant Abatecola will be celebrating his 24th year of marriage to his beautiful wife, Louisa, on June 27th. Together they reside in East Providence and have 4 children ranging in age from 15 to 23. Gianna, Christopher, Dominique, and Alexander, who like his father is also in the Rhode Island Army National Guard serving in Bravo Battery, 103rd Field Artillery. The 88th Army Band has a long, proud history that dates back to 24 June 1892. The band originated from the Brigade of Rhode Island Militia as bands 1st and 2nd Regiments of Infantry, and on November 4th, 1908, it was redesignated into the Coastal Artillery Corps. Since that time, the band has undergone many reorganizations. Today, the 88th Army Band is the final evolution resulting from the consolidation of these 3 former Army bands: the Camp Lee Band, the 125th Army Band, and the 88th Army Ground Forces Band. The Camp Lee Band was organized on January 29, 1930, and operated under the 118th Engineering Battalion of the 43rd Infantry Division, Rhode Island Army National Guard. Later that year, the 125th Army Band was formed and operated under Service Battery, 103rd Field Artillery, also part of the 43rd Infantry Division. On February 19, 1942, both these bands were consolidated together and renamed the 43rd Division Artillery Band. 2 years later, between May 25th and June 1st, 1944, the 43rd Division Artillery Band was split and reorganized into 2 bands. The 88th Army Ground Forces Band and the 125th Army Ground Forces Band were serviced in World War II. The 125th Army Ground Forces Band was sent to the Pacific to serve in Guadalcanal, the Solomon Islands, while the 88th Army Ground Forces Band served in Central Europe before being inactivated on June 1st, 1946 in Germany. 1 month later, on July 2nd, 1946, the 88th Army Ground Forces Band reconsolidated with the 125th Army Ground Forces Band to form the current 88th Army Band and reassigned back to the Rhode Island Army National Guard. In 1986, Governor Edward DePrett, in recognition of the 88th Army Band's history, service, and high level of performance and dedication to the state of Rhode Island, he awarded the band with the Sobriet Governor's Own that has since that time performed its mission with excellence and pride. The commander of the 88th Army Band, Chief Warrant Officer 3 Todd Garrity, will now oversee the transfer of responsibility.
Man, up to jump. 3, set. Arms. Order. Arms. Guide on. Post.
At this time, Chief Warrant Officer 3 Garrity joins First Sergeant Soares and First Sergeant Abatecola for the passing of the non-commissioned officer's sword. The War Department in 1840 adopted the unique non-commissioned officer's sword. It is a completely functional weapon, not intended for display, but rather for hard and dedicated use. While no longer part of the Army's inventory, American sergeants wore it for over 70 years, during which occurred the Mexican-American War, the Civil War, and the Spanish-American War. The passing of the sword signifies the relinquishing of responsibility and authority from the outgoing to the incoming first sergeant. First sergeants may come and go, but the sword remains razor sharp. Sergeant First Class Michael Thomas, the operations sergeant, retrieves the sword from the guidon bearer. The guidon bearer, entrusted with the symbol of the unit today, also holds the first sergeant's sword, symbol of the authority of the NCO. Sergeant First Class Thomas passes the sword to First Sergeant Soares in final deference to his authority and leadership. First Sergeant Soares passes the sword to Chief Warrant Officer 3 Garrity, signifying the relinquishing of his duties and gratitude for the opportunity to care for the band's fine soldiers. Chief Warrant Officer 3 Garrity passes the sword to First Sergeant Abatecola, delegating authority and entrusting him the responsibility and care of the unit. First Sergeant Abatecola passes the sword back to Sergeant First Class Thomas and the guidon bearer, symbolizing his dedication to the soldiers of the 88th Army Band in the continuity of the NCO support channel. It is a tradition in the Army Band for the outgoing First Sergeant to award the First Sergeant coin to the incoming First Sergeant as a symbol of respect and confidence in his abilities to perform the duties of the First Sergeant. Headquarters, 56th Troop Command, dated 8 June 2016, First Sergeant Abatecola assumes the duties and responsibilities as First Sergeant of the 88th Army Band. Effective 2 June 2016, signed, Colonel Ellis F. Hopkins III, commanding.
Forward. March. Parade. Rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 88th Army Band, Chief Warrant Officer 3, Todd Garrity.
Welcome, everyone. Colonel Hopkins, State Command Sergeant Major Moniz, officers, senior and junior enlisted, soldiers of the 88th Army Band, friends and family. What a great day. It's beautiful out here. It's never desirable to lose someone with so much experience, but life pushes forward with new and uncertain events to follow. Today, the 88th Army Band will lose a valuable individual, First Sergeant Soares. However, I have all the confidence in First Sergeant Abatecola to carry the torch of experience and leadership as both a musician and a soldier. Cliff, like any other command team, we've had our ups and downs, but at the end of the day, it's been a great run. Over the past 6+ years, look at all the accomplishments. Increased unit strength, high op tempo, better trained group of soldiers, both in their individual additional duties and MOS. I commend you in all the additional services, from funeral honors to your additional voluntary performances as a bugler and a vocalist. You were always the first one at the unit to greet the soldiers at drill time. You were always the first one at the mission site trying to tighten up those loose ends. You lead by example. You sent a strong message to the soldiers with that. You served with selflessness, professionalism, and always placed the mission first. I thank you deeply for that. And I can proudly say, and I can speak for the soldiers, that they say thank you for that too. I can say now that it's time for you to hand this torch over to First Sergeant Abatecola. Carry that ever-brightening flame of experience and leadership for the soldiers of the 88th Army Band. Please do not be a stranger here. We love it when you come in and play with us, sing with us. Help Tony in his transition, mentor him. Share your knowledge and experience so that he can become a better leader and mentor for these soldiers. You are always welcome here to come back and perform with us. Remember, you will always be a part of the 88th Army Band family. Tony, I welcome you into your new position as an enlisted band leader of the 88th Army Band. Like most past first sergeants from this unit, you have been homegrown. That was read in your comments there. You already have a vast amount of knowledge and experience of how an Army band is to function at a high level. You also bring a lot of experience from other MOSs, which will prove to be extremely valuable. All those tools that you have, I expect you to use them to the extreme. Mentor these soldiers and give them everything, every bit of knowledge, everything that you have, so that they can rise to the highest of their potential. Be humble and fair and just. Remember to listen to them. They have experience and knowledge that can help you. Leadership and teaching is not just one direction. The great teacher must, at times, be a good student, and a great leader needs to follow at times. Seek out Cliff and tap his knowledge, tap all his experience. For you know just as well as to do that. It's very important. Just constantly go find out as much as you can. Use your resources. Soldiers of the 88th Army Band, I understand transition can be difficult, especially in a leadership position. However, First Sergeant Abatecola is more than qualified and capable to fulfill the duties as a senior NCO in this unit. You must work with him as he will work with you. And do not only respect his rank of First Sergeant, but also the valuable knowledge base, experience, and dedication to this unit that First Sergeant Abatecola has to offer. I have an undying faith that First Sergeant Abatecola will nurture this band and allow you to shine, not only on paper, but on the stage as well, just as First Sergeant Soares has. Good luck to both of you. First Sergeant, again, I know you're going to be away, but please come back and see us. You're always invited here. Good luck to both of you. Thank you.
First Sergeant Soares.
Good afternoon. Colonel Hopkins, Command Sergeant Major Moniz, guests, friends, retired colonels, retired first sergeants, Commander, Tony, and the 88th. I don't have much to say to you. It's a bittersweet day for me. The commander kind of stole most of my thunder. But remember, please, Tony's a good soldier, as are all of you. Trust in him. He'll find the correct answer, if he doesn't have it already. E7s, take care of the troops. Be mindful of their families and their needs of their families. Commander, it's been fun. Not always, but most of the time. We have had disagreements, but I guess the end result is he's the commander, and I was the first sergeant, and I end up doing what you told. So, it worked out well. I can honestly say that we've never had a bad mission since I've been first sergeant. Our missions have always been successful. But it's not about me, and it's actually not about Sergeant Abatecola. It's about you guys. You make the music, you make the performances happen. Without your support, there can be no 88th Army Band. I'll be around it from time to time, and of course I'll be available to the commander and to the new first sergeant. So you may see me here and again. Until that time, I bid you well. Thank you.
First Sergeant Abatecola.
Okay, so I guess the floor is mine now. Like Cliff said, it's not about us at all. It is about the band, about the unit. I couldn't stress that enough. First off, I'd like to thank everyone that's here joining myself and my family right now for this promotion and change of responsibility. Command staff, officers, senior, junior enlisted, and definitely friends. I appreciate you guys all coming down. I'd like to take this time to thank a couple people that made me who I am today. Mom, Dad, of course, thank you for everything you've done in the past, being there when I needed you. And of course, a ton of thanks goes to my wife Louisa and the kids, Alex, Dominique, Christopher, and Gianna, who, without their support, I would have never been able to have this kind of career that I've had so far. It would not have been possible. Over the last 23 years of being in the Army, there's one thing I've learned, is the Army is very good at many things. Out of everything, I'd say that the one thing that the Army specializes in is driving spouses crazy. Anyone who's married would know that for a fact. The fact that she's still here and still supporting me through all this craziness has made her a very special lady indeed. Throughout the years, I've had some very unique opportunities to work with several exceptional people in my military career. Some of them are in this audience right now. I've been influenced by many outstanding NCOs and officers, and from my colleagues from the full-time force, and to even the former first sergeants of the band, some of that are here, like Sergeant Madeira, Sergeant Sardiello, and up until recently, Sergeant Soares, who no one can deny his loyalty, dedication, and faithfulness to the unit. There are too many people to list everybody, but there is one I feel I do have to mention. It goes back to a small story, and there's a point to it. I'm referring to someone that was an influence in my life very early on, a retired colonel by the name of Bill Tuttle. And some of the guys in the audience know who he is, and he was, probably anyone that still talks to him, please pass this on. He's someone I consider to be one of the best officers I ever served with, I've ever known actually. To me, he was a driving, inspirational force that motivated me to achieve more, especially when things didn't go my way, and that was quite often sometimes. Let me explain why. Back in 1996, when I was still part-time, I was on the verge of a major life change. Band was doing AT at Camp Varnum, where the colonel was the brigade, the commandant down there around the military academy. We were doing AT, and the commander at that time, then Captain Entwistle, now Colonel, introduced me to Colonel Tuttle. And he wrote something on a piece of paper, this piece of paper actually, which I've had all this time. Colonel Tuttle was famous for his little Tuttleisms, they called it, if anyone ever knew him when he was down there. He wrote this one out for me. He said, "Pain is temporary, pride is forever," and he signed it Colonel T. I've kept this with me all this time. I mean, it's one of those things where every time I saw him, even though at BJ's one time, I hear this voice in the background, "Pain is temporary," and he respectfully respond back, "Pride is forever." There's a lot of truth in that, you know, because you just gotta keep driving on, even through the pain, even things don't go your way. But when you achieve the goal, that pride lasts with you forever. And that's one thing. He was one of a kind. He's an example that I'll be inspired by forever. It's experiences like that that help provide me a compass to help guide me in the decisions I'll be making as the new first sergeant coming up. A first sergeant is the lifeblood of the Army. There's no substitute for this type of position. There's no question of its importance. When they are exceptional, their units are exceptional. A first sergeant must be able to see the group, not only as individuals, but as a whole. They must be able to bring a strategic perspective, to see what is working, what is missing, and what needs adjusting. They are supposed to use the experience to bring wisdom and balance to a discussion. The first sergeant is where all unit operations converge. They hold formations, instruct team leaders, advise the commander, oversee training, and are responsible for the health and welfare of all the soldiers in the unit. I am honored in becoming the next first sergeant of the 88th Army Band. I will fulfill my duties in that role to the best of my ability. I promise you that. Sam Walton once said, "Outstanding leaders go out of their way to boost the self-esteem of their personnel. If people believe in themselves, it is amazing what they can accomplish." That saying is a cornerstone to my basic belief in leadership. I invest in people. I will do my best to create an atmosphere that allows you to perform your job to the best of your ability and maximize your potential as an asset to this unit. That being said, you got to believe in the mission, and I expect you to live up to the potential that I know you all have. The road we have is full of challenges. Challenges in personnel, unit structure, scheduling, challenges in music. We must work together if we are going to overcome these challenges, and they are there, trust me. But I have no doubt we will, because we are the Governor's own 88th Army Band, a unit with a long and proud history. Take pride in your service. Take ownership of your role and your purpose in this unit. I do. I challenge you to do the same. Well, that's about it. I really do appreciate everyone coming down for this. It is definitely special, and it's gratifying to see some old friends I haven't seen in a long time. I hope to see everyone next Tuesday as we have our biggest performance of the year down in Bristol. So please, if you're sitting here, please join us for that. It's going to be a hell of a show. These guys worked very hard this afternoon. Yeah, I'm putting a pitch out for it. So it was really good. So on that note, thank you. Thank you, Commander, for having faith. Thank you, Cliff, for everything you do. I have to admit, he threw me for a loop. I was not expecting the coin part he did. He kind of threw that last minute, but he's always been known for his surprises. I guess that keeps us on our toes a lot of times. So that's special, something we're going to miss. Thank you.
Thank you, First Sergeant Abatecola, First Sergeant Soares, and Chief Garrity.
Man, what? Chuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of the Army song. Playing of the Army song.
Singing of the Arms.
Yes, sir.
March along, sing a song, we're the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might. And the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won. And the army goes rolling along. And it's hi, hi, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the canes loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Sir, this concludes the ceremony.
Take charge of the unit.
Man, fall out.
This concludes the 88th Army Band Change of Responsibility ceremony. Please join us for refreshments.
Please, we're saying, everybody.